And speaking of that, you had the #1 show recently, and ABC fired you over that tweet.
Yeah.
So you tweeted this thing out one night about Jared, that woman.
It was about the Iran deal, and let me say this: it was
Valerie Jarrett.
It was 3 months of discussing the People's Revolution, the woman's revolution in Iran. 3 months. I was on there day and night, and they took one sentence out of that entire tweet storm where other people were involved, including reporters in Iran, and they mischaracterized that tweet and just threw dirt on my name and took my life's work away from me, and then continued to disparage me, and they still do.
Yeah.
And of course I was like, we talk about God. Well, we didn't get to that yet, but I'm sure we will.
We will.
Yeah. But it was terrifying. It was like,
I was going to ask you.
It was like being a little girl where they would tell their stories of, the things they had gone through in Germany. It was just like that in my mind.
Amazing.
It was like, oh my God, they're calling me a racist, and I'm a Jew with North African roots.
Yeah.
And my whole life I fought for civil rights, and I ran for president in 2012.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. As the representative of the Black Caucus of the Green Party, and they insulted also all of my black fans and all of my black family and all of my black friends. They insulted them too, as well as the people who watched the show, because they really wanted to call a Trump supporter a racist.
They did, absolutely.
That's all it's about.
It was a political statement. It was not a racist statement.
In any way, it was not racial.
But they pretended that it was.
She was white. I thought she was Persian.
I didn't even know she was black, to be honest. I did too. I thought she was Persian or something, not even black.
And plus, she was. Another reason is, this is going to get me in a boatload of trouble, but she was a slumlord in Chicago.
I'm not surprised.
I thought, then I thought, my God, you got to apologize to white people for thinking that it was a white slum owner when it wasn't.
And it wasn't a white. It was amazing.
Her slum owning was so bad, Jesse, that the state took her slum away from her.
Wow.
That's bad.
And that wasn't all over the news, the way they put this thing about you.
No, it wasn't that she worked for the Federal Reserve. That wasn't on the news either.
Yeah. What they accuse us of is what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so amazing.
And then these people, and here's the mind-blowing thing, because I was going to talk to you about your bond thing. My whole career, I've always been fighting to get black writers in those writers' rooms.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe, and I've written about it too in books that I've written, you wouldn't believe the, what's the word where they say no, no, no. So that's why I don't agree with you that it's post-racist, because I was in Hollywood and I've seen it. And I try to get black writers in there. I say, but we're talking about a working class of people that's heavily populated by people of color. It's not just, hillbillies, like their view of things. And I was right in the middle of fighting for them to hire black writers and to do the second season about racial politics in America.
So this was
when they called me a racist.
Wow.
And I'm really mad.
Yeah.
I can't get rid of it, but I'm sublimating into trying to do something bigger and better for children of the world. That's my cause.
It was their loss. That show is going to hell in a handbasket right now. It's not working. So it was their loss, not yours.
Well, it was my loss because they were my ideas that, I sat there for 20 years going, if I ever came back, what would people be doing in this family?
Yeah.
So that was 20 years of me thinking and putting my sweat and blood into what would it be when they came back.
But you could take that now and create your own show.
I know. People were telling me, somebody said, you should do a new Roseanne show and say all your family was killed by illegal aliens.
That's right. Absolutely. But here's what I want to know. So that night you tweeted out this tweet.
Yeah,
and
it
you
was
went to
weird.
bed,
No, I was in bed. I was asleep.
And then you wake up the next morning, all hell is breaking loose. What was your first thought and feeling? What did you think right away?
Well, my boyfriend was there, and so he saw it all. And my son too. I tweeted when I woke up. They had said that I was the racist thing, and I tweeted back. I didn't know it was a big deal yet. I said, Muslim is not a race.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know she was black.
Right.
And then you could have knocked me over with a feather
I
when
bet.
they found out. And I was like, oh my God, I've stepped in some mud now, some stinky stuff.
Yeah.
And, but it wasn't like that too much. It was like I was asleep and I got awakened, what's the word? And it was like, put your fingers on that computer and type this. It was like not even me.
Yeah.
And it was like important that I did it. And so I did it, and then I was thinking, man, you have made a Q-like sentence that holds a lot of nuance. And then when they came down on me the next day, I was just already so shook up. I was so shaken because they were saying that it was.
I know.
They reduced it to the most common denominator of idiocy.
Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't say anything like that.
No.
And then shortly thereafter, people started tweeting pictures of Valerie Jarrett next to, I forget her name, that Helena Bonham Carter, who was the character in that movie, which happens to be my favorite movie. Now I can never talk about it, I guess. But it is my favorite movie because Rod Serling wrote it, and to me, always, it was about the Jews.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's my favorite movie, about when you deny your slaves the ability to read. And it's also about black people, and it's also about slaves. People still have slaves. And, they have them in Iran.
Yeah. You don't hear anything about that,
No.
though, from these people.
No. And
Are you over that now? Are you past that? Or does it still bother you?
it bothers me to have been slimed by people who were saying, you don't need black writers. That makes me mad. And I do want an apology. And they owe me an apology.
Yeah.
I don't want my show back because that, whatever.
Right.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
And I could never go back now with the things they've said about me.
Yes.
And nor would I want to.
I don't
But I
blame
just
you.
want to, well, you can know me for 20 years and who I am and what I've done.
Did
and
the
then
cast
call me
defend you? The cast of that show, they didn't defend you?
No.
Why not?
They piled on.
Really?
Yeah. It was,
Were you
it was
surprised
like
by
being
that?
in hell, huh?
Were you surprised they did not defend you, the cast of the show?
No, because I was like this. When the network called, they said, you're going to have to talk to the network. And I'm like, ah, crap. That's when I started smoking again. I hadn't even been smoking.
I don't blame you.
So I go, give me a dang cigarette. I'm out in the alley smoking, not talking.
Yeah.
And the first thing they said to me is, what? And was real arrogant. Not the way you talk to somebody who's just giving you a #1 show.
Right. That's right.
Not the way. But
That's right.
it was a man, and he's beta.
Beta.
Beta, yeah. No respect for
Yeah.
me as a woman, as an artist, or somebody who has put their own butt on the line for things they never would do.
Making
They
a
don't
lot
have
of
the
money for them,
guts.
too.
Yeah. But, the first question he says to me, what possible excuse do you have for such an egregious blah, blah, and then I stopped listening then. But I was like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah.
God is bringing this down on me in 20 different directions. And God did bring it down on me in 20 different directions. But I was holding on fast, and I'm like, God, I know you did it for a reason. I know you woke me up in the middle of the night to write that.
Well, he didn't do it. He allowed it to happen to bring your attention to something else.
Yes, he did.
So that's why it happened.
I know, and I knew that the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I was there in my mom's house, and my mom, she's very religious too, you know. And I'm like, I'm hanging on till the light.
That's
At
right.
the end of the I know it's going to be something good.
That's right.
They can't shake my faith. They can't destroy me, and they definitely can't silence me.
That's right.
And so that won't happen. But
That's right.
I thought, well, this subject is so large that I need to address it. And so that is why I was invited to address the Knesset in Jerusalem, and I will be speaking about the left.
Oh, good.
And how they, like the women in Hollywood, congratulated the woman who fired me, the actors.
Amazing.
And I'm like, man, you just brought a world of hurt down on yourself. That's how I saw it.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, you just brought a world of hurt down on you. And that's how I look at all of it. And it's like, you know, they're going to have to deal. It's not my problem. I don't care.
That's right.
Not none of my business. But here was the kicker. Valerie Jarrett goes on the TV, and she goes, it didn't bother me a bit. After I know what phone calls were made,
Right.
because Bob Iger, the head of ABC, and let's talk about, well, I won't, but they all said it in print. How's that for smart?
Amazing.
Every one of them said it in print. Bob Iger said in print that Valerie Jarrett was the first call he made before he fired me. Okay, well, there's in print. You told your story.
That's amazing.
So
let me add this staff. I mean the cast
she said
members.
it didn't bother her at all.
I'm sure it didn't. She got more pleasure watching a white woman who's a Jew get fired than she did with anything else. White people are the most hated.
A Jewish woman, I don't consider myself white. Most Jews don't.
A Jewish woman, but listen.
A Jewish woman who defends Israel. They took me down.
Yeah.
And Trump. And the reason I voted for Trump is because he said he would move the embassy to Israel. So it was
and
very,
he did it.
and he did it.
He did it.